Joining us now is retired Army Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson. He is former Chief of Staff for Secretary of State Colin Powell. He served during the first term of the Bush administration. Colonel Wilkerson, thank you for being here. It's nice to see you.
Thanks for having me, Rachel.
Let me ask you first, looking back on the start of the war, looking back at these past 8.5 years, how it feels to you to have the Iraq war ending now and having all the American troops coming home?
Let me say first that I want to thank you for your very eloquent and accurate commentary with regard to the state of the condition of the U.S. Armed Forces. It's unconscionable in some respects that we have let these people sacrifice for as long as they have in Afghanistan and Iraq, and literally gone on with our lives. Reduced taxes, as you pointed out, and shopping, as President Bush said, and so forth. These men and women not only deserve to come home, they deserve to come home a long time ago. The preposterous protests being made by members of my political party, like John McCain and Lindsey Graham and others, just boggle my mind. We need to move in a military sense back to a position of strategic agility. That is to say, we need to be in offshore conformation. We need to be in battle groups and marine amphibious groups and Air Force in Qatar and Saudi Arabia. We need to have that agility to be able to move wherever we need to influence actions if we have to with hard power in Western Asia. It's absurd that we were mired in Iraq so long. Secondarily, we need to let the Iraqis do their thing. The greatest defense against Iran with respect to Iraq is Iraqi nationalism. When my son served in Kirkuk with the 3rd Iraqi Air Force, he said the only thing that unified those members of the Air Force, Sunni, Shia, whatever they were, was their hatred for Persians. This kind of nationalism in Iraq is the best defense against Iran, not U.S. forces on the ground, unless, of course, your plan is to go on to Syria or to go on to Iran from Afghanistan and from Iraq. And, of course, that was the plan of George Bush and Dick Cheney, a plan which was put asunder by the fact that Iraq turned so badly in the years 2004, 5, 6, and 7.
I think that there are a lot of hard questions to ask about what we learned from the Iraq war experience as a nation, the kind of things you were just mentioning there about the split between civilian experience of the last 10 years and what our military has experienced in the foremost, especially for those of us who are civilians. I think we have to think hard about that. But one of the things that I really don't understand, it's a wide open question to me, is how the experience of the Iraq war changed Republican politics. I feel like it's surprising to hear Republican politicians all talking now as if it is 2005, as if nothing has happened that's any different than when the first few years of when the war started. Do you understand how Republicans may feel differently about war and peace and foreign policy than they did before the Iraq war experience?
The only way I can explain it, Rachel, is their hatred of President Obama. And I say that with some circumspection. They want to defeat this man. They want to bring this man out of the White House. They want to embarrass this man. They want to put this man through every kind of turmoil they can possibly put him through politically. So they will take almost any stand, even, and this is what really grates on me as a Republican, even if it is not in the interest of this country, they will take a stand and have repeatedly taken stands that oppose the president simply because they oppose the president. It's not America. It's not the United States. It's not our best interest. It's certainly not our national security interest. It's getting rid of this president. That is political opportunism and political blindness of the first order. And it may cause me to leave this party eventually, I must say that.
Do you see any hope within the Republican Party for a new vision of a conservative, realistic, not reactionary foreign policy emerging? Is anybody leading on that?
I see Ron Paul. I see Walt Jones from North Carolina. I see a few others who speak sanely and soberly. But as far as the leadership goes, whether it's domestic policy, tax reform, taxing the wealthiest in this country, which incidentally Dwight Eisenhower did for 8 years at the rate of 90%, an arch Republican, if you will. Any issue you want to pick, my Republicans seem to be intent on suicide.
Retired Army Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson, Chief of Staff for Secretary of State Colin Powell in the first term of the Bush administration. Sir, I always enjoy talking to you, but in particular on this subject and tonight, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Speaking of Ron Paul, how